March 12, 1983, a freezing Iowa morning. The auctioneer's breath hung in the 42-degree air as he stared at 200 stone-faced farmers gathered for the Patterson Farm estate sale. Old man Patterson was dead. Nobody wanted his land. And Lot 47, a 1948 Farmall M tractor covered in rust and faded pink paint, was about to become the joke of Hamilton County. "Let's start the bidding at 2,000, the auctioneer called out. Dead silence. "All right, 1,500. Nothing. Farmers studied their boots like they were suddenly fascinating. The tractor sat there looking like something pulled from a scrapyard. Paint peeling, one tire almost flat, exhaust stack bent like a broken finger, seat torn to shreds. It looked absolutely worthless. $1,000, folks, come on. That's when a farmer actually laughed out loud. That thing's not worth hauling away. It's scrap metal. Another voice rang out. I wouldn't take it for free. Cost more to fix than it's worth. The auctioneer sighed, ready to move on. 800. Then a hand shot up from the back. 500. Every head turned. Standing there was a kid, maybe 23 years old, wearing work clothes that looked too new. Face too clean, hands too smooth. A city boy playing farmer. The crowd immediately knew what they were witnessing. A fool about to learn an expensive lesson. We got 500. Do I hear 6? Crickets. 500 going once, twice. Sold to the young man for $500. The snickering started immediately. Fool just bought a $500 pile of junk. Another farmer elbowed his buddy. Kid doesn't know a tractor from a lawnmower. The young man walked forward. His name was Michael Chen. He counted out 5 crisp $100 bills, took the title, hooked the Farmall to his rusty pickup truck, and towed it away while farmers shook their heads and whispered about city kids who think farming is easy. Nobody knew they were watching the beginning of something extraordinary. Michael wasn't some clueless city kid. He was born in Des Moines to restaurant-owning parents, went to Iowa State, studied agricultural business. Graduated in 1982 with $12,000 saved from working every spare hour through college. That $12,000 was his entire war chest to start a farming operation in the middle of the worst farm crisis since the Great Depression. Everyone told him he was insane. Farms are failing everywhere. Banks are foreclosing daily. This is literally the worst time in modern history to start farming. But Michael saw something nobody else could see. Crisis means opportunity. Struggling farmers need services they can't afford. If he could buy equipment cheap and offer affordable custom farming, he could build something real. The Farmall was his first move. $500 for a tractor everyone rejected. His landlord took one look at it when Michael parked it at the 2-acre property he was renting. You paid money for that? 500. You got robbed. That's worth maybe 200 in scrap metal. Michael just smiled. We'll see. What happened next shocked everyone who'd laughed at that auction. Michael spent 2 weeks analyzing every inch of that tractor. Engine still had compression. Transmission shifted. Hydraulics worked. Electrical system was dead but fixable. It looked like garbage, but mechanically it was solid gold. He made a detailed list: new fluids, battery, wiring, spark plugs, carburetor kit, 2 tires, seat cover, paint. Total parts cost $438. Total investment with the purchase price, $938. Labor cost, 0. Michael would do everything himself. He worked a day job at the feed mill, making $6 an hour to pay his bills. Then he worked on that Farmall every single night and weekend. Drained fluids, rebuilt the carburetor, rewired the entire electrical system using a manual from the library, installed new tires, got it running. When he turned the key, the engine fired up smooth as silk. Purr like it was brand new. Transmission shifted perfectly through every gear. Hydraulics lifted implements like a dream. Mechanically, that tractor was absolutely perfect. Then Michael did something nobody expected. He didn't paint it. Kept the faded pink, kept the surface rust, kept every dent and scratch. Made it mechanically flawless, but left it looking like the junk everyone thought it was. His reasoning was brilliant. If it looks too nice, people think it's expensive. If it looks rough but runs perfect, they think they're getting a bargain. By May 1983, Michael was ready. He placed an ad in the local paper, Custom farming services, plowing, dissing, planting, affordable rates. Call Mike. The first call came from a widow named Helen Morris. Her husband had died in '82. She had 80 acres she rented to a neighbor, but he was struggling and couldn't farm it this year. "I need it planted or I lose my rent income," Helen's voice cracked on the phone. "But the big operators want $3,000. I don't have it." Michael drove out in his beat-up pickup, towing that ugly Farmall. Helen's face fell when she saw it. "That's your equipment?" "Yes, ma'am. Looks rough, but runs perfect. I can plant your 80 acres for $1,200. That's $15 an acre. Big operators charge $37.50. Helen hesitated. "Can that old thing actually do it?" "Yes, ma'am. I guarantee it. If you're not satisfied, you don't pay." Michael spent 4 days planting those 80 acres. The Farmall never missed a single beat, planted perfectly straight rows at ideal depth and spacing. Helen watched in amazement as this kid with the reject tractor did flawless work. "I expected problems," she admitted when he handed her the bill. "But you did it perfectly." She wrote him a check for $1,200. "Young man, you just saved me $1,800. I'm telling everyone I know." And she did. Word spread like wildfire. The widow Morris hired the kid with the ugly old Farmall, and he did incredible work for half the price. The second call came from Robert Williams, a small farmer with 240 acres who couldn't afford to buy a planter. Michael calculated quickly, 240 times 15 equals 3,600. "I can start Monday." 8 days later, Williams' entire farm was planted. The Farmall ran perfectly. Williams paid and immediately told his neighbors. By the end of May, Michael had planted 680 acres for various small farmers. Revenue, $10,200. Expenses for fuel and maintenance, about $1,200. Net profit, $9,000 in 1 month. The farmers who'd laughed at the auction started hearing rumors. The kid with the junk Farmall is making serious money doing custom work. But nobody understood what was really happening. This wasn't just about 1 month of profit. June brought cultivation jobs. Farmers needed weeds controlled but couldn't afford cultivators. Michael bought a used one at auction for $300, fixed it, offered cultivation services at $10 per acre, cultivated 200 acres in June alone. Revenue $12,000, profit $10,200. July brought more cultivation and hay mowing. Revenue $14,000, profit $11,000. Then came August and September, and Michael made his boldest move yet. He found a 1966 John Deere combine at auction. Nobody wanted it. Too old, they said. Ancient. Worthless. Michael bought it for $1,800, spent $900 on repairs, and offered combining services at $20 per acre. He combined 900 acres. Revenue, $18,000. Expenses, $4,000 in fuel and maintenance. Profit, $14,000. By the end of 1983, Michael's first-year totals were staggering. Total revenue, $68,000. Total expenses, $14,000. Net profit, $54,000. He'd started in March with $12,000 and ended the year with $66,000. And he'd helped 23 small farmers who couldn't afford the big operators. The community started noticing. This kid with the rejected Farmall and other old equipment was thriving while established farmers with brand new machinery were struggling to survive. But the real story was just beginning. In 1984, Michael expanded aggressively. He bought more old equipment at auctions, fixed everything himself, hired 2 part-time workers. Revenue hit $112,000. Profit, $78,000. The farmers who'd mocked him in '83 were now calling him. "Can you disc my ground? Plant my beans? Combine my corn?" Michael never turned anyone away, kept prices affordable, worked 100-hour weeks during planting and harvest, built an ironclad reputation for reliability. By 1985, he had 6 pieces of equipment, all bought cheap at auctions, all old, all rejected by others, all fixed by Michael, all running perfectly. And that original 1948 Farmall, still his primary tractor, still running flawlessly, still looking like junk, still making money. Then something unexpected happened that changed everything. Big custom farming operations started noticing their revenue was dropping. Henderson Agricultural Services, the largest operator in 3 counties, saw revenue drop 22% from 83 to 85. The owner blamed Michael publicly. "This kid with junk equipment is undercutting us, charging half what we charge, taking our customers." Henderson tried to destroy Michael, spread vicious rumors. "His equipment's dangerous, not insured properly. You hire him, you're taking huge risks." Michael responded by getting proper insurance. Cost him $4,800 annually, but eliminated that criticism completely. Henderson tried another approach, dropped their prices to match Michael's. But Henderson had newer equipment with massive operating costs. Matching Michael's prices meant losing money on every job. After 8 brutal months, Henderson gave up, went back to premium pricing, and lost customers to Michael permanently. Other operators tried different strategies. Some focused on large operations Michael couldn't handle efficiently. Some emphasized speed and scale. Some went bankrupt. By 1988, 3 of 5 competing custom operations had closed their doors forever. But Michael wasn't trying to destroy anyone. He was just serving a market they'd completely ignored. Small farmers who desperately needed affordable services, and the stories of the families he helped were absolutely incredible. Customer number 1, the Johnson family. 320 acres, 3 generations on the same land. Facing foreclosure in 1984. The bank wanted them gone. They owed $180,000 on land worth maybe $160,000. They were drowning. Michael offered a lifeline. "Let me farm it on shares. I do all the work. We split the crop 60-40 in your favor. You risk nothing." Johnson couldn't believe it. "You'd trust us when the bank won't?" "The bank doesn't know farming. I do. Your land is good. We'll make it work." Michael farmed that land for 3 years on shares. Every season, he taught the Johnsons how to maximize yields, minimize costs, and manage operations efficiently. By 1987, the Johnsons had paid off enough debt to refinance at reasonable rates. By 1990, they were debt-free. At the museum dedication in 2012, Johnson's grandson stood up and said something that made everyone cry. "Grandpa was ready to walk away in '84. Mike showed up with that ugly tractor and gave us hope. We've been farming ever since. All because one guy saw value when everyone else, including the bank, saw failure." Customer number 2, the Reynolds Farm, 480 acres, owned by an elderly couple with no children to take over. Facing retirement with no succession plan. Considering selling to a corporate farm for pennies on the dollar. Michael proposed something radical. "Lease it to me for 10 years. I pay you guaranteed annual income. I farm it. After 10 years, I help you find a young farmer to buy it at fair price, or I buy it myself." Reynolds was suspicious. "Why would you offer guaranteed income? You take all the risk." "Because I believe in keeping family farms in family hands, and I believe in your land." Michael farmed it for 8 years. Then he connected the Reynolds with a young farmer from Minnesota who'd been saving to buy his own place. Facilitated a fair price sale. The Reynolds retired comfortably. The young farmer got his dream. The land stayed in family farming. Reynolds told the museum crowd, "Mike could have bought our land cheap when we were desperate. Instead, he helped us get full value and helped another young farmer get started. He put people before profit." But the most shocking story was customer number 3. The Brennan Farm, 280 acres. The original owner, Tom Brennan, was facing foreclosure and divorce simultaneously. Everything was falling apart. He was drinking heavily, suicidal. The bank wanted the land. His wife wanted out. He wanted to disappear. Michael showed up at Tom's door on a rainy Tuesday in March 1985. Tom answered drunk, holding a bottle, barely able to stand. "Get off my land," Tom slurred. "I'm here to help you farm it." "Can't farm it. Losing it. Bank takes it next month." Michael made a split-second decision that saved Tom's life. "Give me 30 days. I'll farm it on spec. If I make money, we talk about keeping the farm. If I don't, you've lost nothing." Tom laughed bitterly. "Do whatever you want. Won't matter." Michael planted that entire farm in 1 week. The Farmall ran 16-hour days. Michael slept in his truck between fields. He planted every acre perfectly, using his own money for seed and inputs. The crop came in strong. Michael harvested it himself, sold it, and paid off enough of Tom's debt to stop foreclosure. Then he sat Tom down and said something that changed everything. "You can drink yourself to death, or you can fight for your farm. Choose now." Tom chose to fight. Michael helped him get into rehab, managed the farm for 1 year while Tom got sober, taught Tom modern farming techniques. By 1987, Tom was farming independently again, saved his marriage, saved his farm, saved his life. Tom told the museum crowd in 2012, his voice breaking, "Mike gave me that tractor's second chance. Everyone thought I was worthless. He saw something salvageable. I've been sober 27 years, still farming, still married. My kids farm with me now, all because Mike looked past the rust." Customer number 4, Sarah Mitchell, a widow with 160 acres and no farming experience. Her husband died suddenly. She had land, but no idea how to farm it. She was going to sell for whatever she could get and move to Des Moines. Michael approached her with a proposition. "Let me farm it on shares. I do all the work. We split crop 50-50. You risk nothing. You learn by watching. After a few years, you decide if you want to farm it yourself or keep our arrangement." Sarah agreed reluctantly. Michael farmed her land for 4 years on shares, teaching her every single step. Eventually, Sarah took over farming herself with Michael as her mentor. By 1987, Sarah was farming independently. She sent her son to college on farm income. Her son came back and expanded the operation to 480 acres. Sarah's son told the museum crowd, "Mom would have sold our land in '83 for maybe $60,000 and moved to Des Moines. Mike showed her she could farm it. Kept our family on the land. Our farm's worth $720,000 now. All because Mike gave Mom confidence." Customer number 5, the Martinez family. 320 acres, immigrant family, massive language barriers. The Martinez family immigrated from Mexico in 1976. Worked as farm laborers, saved every penny, bought a small farm in 1981. But cultural and language barriers made everything impossible. Big operators wouldn't work with them. Communication issues, prejudice, they were struggling to survive. Michael didn't care about language or background. "You need planting, I can do it. We figure out price, we figure out payment, we make it work." He used hand gestures and drawings to communicate. Learned basic Spanish, built trust. Farmed for the Martinez family for 6 years. They learned equipment operation from watching him, eventually bought their own equipment and went fully independent. The Martinez family now farms 1,200 acres. Their children are educated and fully integrated into the community. Martinez's father told an interviewer, "He treated us with respect when others wouldn't. Helped us succeed when others wanted us to fail. We remember, we will always remember." But here's where the story takes its most incredible turn. By 1992, Henderson's owner retired and sold his operation to a corporate operator. At his retirement party, he admitted something stunning to the assembled crowd. "That kid with the junk tractor proved me wrong. I said his approach wouldn't work. It worked better than mine. He saw a market I completely missed. That's business, that's vision, and I was too proud to see it." Over 10 years, Michael built a fleet of 23 pieces of equipment. None bought new, all bought at auctions where nobody else wanted them. The 1966 John Deere combine he bought for $1,800. Everyone said it was too old. Michael rebuilt the engine for $900. That combine ran perfectly until 1998, 15 years. Combined over 30,000 acres. A 1959 International disc bought for $280. Farmers laughed. "That thing's older than most tractors here." Michael replaced all bearings for $120, used it for 12 years. A 1963 Ford tractor bought for $650, missing its hydraulic pump. Everyone said parts were unavailable. Michael found a used pump at a salvage yard for $85, fixed it, sold it 4 years later for $2,000. Profit, $1,365. Every single piece followed the same pattern. Buy cheap because it's old or broken. Fix it yourself. Use it until it actually dies. Sell or scrap when done. Michael's total equipment investment through 1990, $43,000. Market value if bought new, over $400,000. Capital savings, $357,000. That capital efficiency was Michael's ultimate competitive advantage. His equipment cost almost nothing compared to competitors, which allowed low prices while maintaining strong profit margins. Critics constantly said, old equipment breaks more, costs you in downtime. Michael's response was always the same: I maintain it properly. It doesn't break, and when it does, I fix it myself. Cost is minimal. His maintenance philosophy was religious: grease every fitting every 50 hours, change fluids on schedule, check everything daily. Old equipment runs forever if you maintain it. New equipment breaks if you neglect it. He was absolutely right. That 1948 Farmall that started everything ran for 126,000 hours on its original engine. No rebuild, just maintenance. Then came 2012, and Michael made a decision that shocked everyone who knew him. He donated the Farmall to the Iowa Farm Heritage Museum. The museum curator initially hesitated. We have several Farmall M tractors already. What makes this one special? Michael explained the entire story, rejected at auction for $500, built a business that generated millions, helped dozens of families survive the crisis, ran over 100,000 hours without engine rebuild, symbolized everything about seeing value where others see junk. The curator understood immediately. This isn't just a tractor, it's a symbol of hope. We'll feature it prominently. They placed it in the main hall, polished it but didn't restore it, kept the original faded paint, kept the surface rust, kept the dents, left Michael's phone number painted on the hood exactly as it had been in 1983. The plaque told the complete story. Visitors read it and cried. Farmers brought their grandchildren. That tractor helped keep food on our table during the hardest times. School groups toured the museum. Teachers used the Farmall as a lesson about perspective, about seeing value, about trusting yourself when everyone else thinks you're wrong. After 5 years, the museum reported something incredible. The Farmall was their most photographed exhibit, more popular than much rarer tractors, more popular than equipment worth 10 times as much. Why? The story. People connected with it. The idea that something everyone rejects might actually be valuable. That young dreamers can be right when experts are wrong. That old doesn't mean worthless. The curator told a reporter, "We have tractors worth more money, rarer models, better condition. But none match the Farmall's impact. It represents hope, second chances, seeing differently." That resonates with people. In 2020, the museum started an annual Farmall Day, a celebration of the tractor and the lesson it taught. Michael spoke every year. His message never changed. Don't let others decide what's valuable. Trust your own assessment. See past surface to structure. Old isn't worthless. New isn't always better. And sometimes the thing everyone rejects is exactly what you need. Thousands attended annually. Many were farmers Michael had helped decades ago. Others were young people inspired by the story. All learned the same fundamental lesson: see opportunity where others see junk. The rejected Farmall wasn't junk, it was treasure. All it needed was someone who could see it. That's Michael Chen's legacy. Not the business he built, not the money he made, the lesson he taught. Look differently. See clearly. Trust yourself. Value substance over appearance. Reject the crowd's judgment when you know better. A young farmer bought a rejected old tractor for $500 at an auction where everyone laughed at him. What happened next stunned an entire community. He built an empire on that tractor, proved every doubter wrong, helped hundreds of families survive, changed how an entire county thought about value, about potential, about looking past rust to see possibility. All because he saw what 200 farmers couldn't see: value. If you enjoyed this story of persistence, vision, and seeing potential where others see nothing, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Drop a comment telling me, what's the rusty tractor in your life that everyone else thinks is worthless but you see potential in? Let's talk about it below. And remember, sometimes the best opportunities are the ones everyone else walks right past.